There are seasons where God works in ways unseen, shaping you quietly without alerting the world around you. It's not the loud, dramatic breakthroughs we often expect. It's a slow, intentional process where your thoughts, emotions, and perspectives are being reformed. Chosen one, this is where real strength is built, because transformation that happens in silence is rooted deeply and cannot be shaken by outside noise. Think of a seed buried underground. For days, even months, nothing seems to change. The soil remains unbroken, and the world assumes the seed is lifeless. But beneath the surface, roots are forming, strong, unseen foundations that will one day support the plant above. In the same way, God is forming unseen strength within you, preparing you for growth others cannot yet perceive. So even if your life looks the same on the outside, trust this. Heaven is at work beneath the surface. Your transformation is already underway, and when the fruit begins to appear, it will be undeniable. Chosen one, sometimes the biggest shifts happen on the days that feel the most ordinary. You wake up, follow your routine, and nothing seems spectacular. Yet in those quiet moments, God is working on your spirit, polishing your character, and preparing you for doors that haven't even opened yet. Ordinary days are not wasted days. They are the canvas where God paints his most intricate designs. Psychologists even confirm that our subconscious rewiring often happens without our awareness. Just like our brain strengthens new neural pathways quietly through repetition, God strengthens your spiritual pathways through hidden seasons. You may not notice the change until one day, your reaction to challenges, your patience, or your peace feels different. That's not by accident. It's divine engineering happening silently within. The days you call ordinary may actually be the most extraordinary seasons of your life, because that's when God is molding you without distraction. If God announced every move before he made it, enemies would have the opportunity to interfere. This is why, chosen one, many of your blessings are wrapped in silence. God often works behind the curtain because the transformation he's building in you isn't meant to be exposed until it's unshakable. Quiet seasons protect what is sacred. Think about how an artist works on a masterpiece. They don't show the unfinished sketch to the world because it's vulnerable to criticism and misunderstanding. Instead, they wait until the painting is complete, then unveil it proudly. In the same way, God doesn't announce every stroke of his hand in your life. He protects your unfinished work, keeping it away from prying eyes until it's ready to shine. So when you don't hear heaven speaking loudly, don't mistake it for absence. Silence is God's shield, and it is evidence that something worth protecting is being formed inside you. Growth doesn't always look like success, applause, or open doors. Sometimes growth looks like patience where there used to be frustration, or peace where there used to be fear. These inner victories are often overlooked because they aren't celebrated by the world, yet they carry the deepest meaning. Chosen one, your spirit is stretching, expanding, and becoming resilient in ways that may not be obvious yet. Consider how trees grow. In winter they appear barren, stripped of beauty, lifeless to the human eye. But beneath the bark and the roots, life is busy preparing for spring. By the time blossoms emerge, months of unseen growth have already occurred. In the same way, your spiritual roots are strengthening during this hidden season, preparing you to bloom when the time is right. The growth you cannot see now will soon become undeniable to everyone who doubted you. There are moments when you suddenly realize you've changed. The same words that once wounded you no longer cut as deeply. The same habits that once trapped you no longer hold power over you. This kind of realization doesn't come with a dramatic announcement. It sneaks up quietly, evidence that God's silent work has been effective. Think of someone who spends months practicing a skill, feeling like they're making no progress. Then one day, everything clicks. The fingers move effortlessly, the knowledge flows easily, and what once felt impossible now feels natural. That's how spiritual transformation works. You don't always notice the change while it's happening, but there comes a moment when you can't deny it anymore. When this realization comes, chosen one, It will fill you with confidence that God's hand has been guiding you all along. Quiet seasons often feel like abandonment. You pray, but there seems to be no immediate response. You seek answers, but the silence lingers. Yet, chosen one, silence doesn't mean absence, it means preparation. God is doing something behind the scenes that requires stillness, not noise. Even in science, the most complex processes often happen in silence. Think of a caterpillar inside a cocoon. It appears lifeless, sealed away, yet an extraordinary transformation is underway. By the time the cocoon opens, the creature inside has become something entirely new. This is the power of your quiet season. It holds the blueprint for your next level. So when life feels muted, know this: the cocoon is not your end. It is your preparation for flight. Transformation often comes with emotional turbulence. You may find yourself more sensitive, more reflective, or even more restless than usual. This is not weakness, it's your spirit adjusting to a higher frequency. Chosen one, emotions are often the first indicators that God is stirring something new inside you. Think about moving into a new house. At first, everything feels uncomfortable. The walls echo differently, the rooms are unfamiliar, and the air feels strange. But over time, what once felt unsettling begins to feel like home. Similarly, when God changes your spirit, your emotions may resist at first, but soon they will align with your new reality. Don't fear the weight of your emotions. It's proof that growth is taking place. One of the hardest parts about silent transformation is that not everyone around you will notice it right away. People who are used to seeing you in a certain light may not recognize the subtle strength you're developing. To them, you might still look like the old version of yourself, because they haven't been given the spiritual eyes to see the new. Think about how people react to weight loss or personal growth. Often, close friends or family are the last to notice because they see you every day. They miss the small changes until the transformation is undeniable. Similarly, some people in your life won't recognize who you are becoming until God's work in you bursts into full display. Don't let their blindness discourage you. What God is doing in you is too powerful to remain hidden forever. One of the clearest signs that God is working in silence is when your desires begin to shift. The things that once excited you no longer satisfy you, and you find yourself longing for deeper meaning, greater purpose, and higher alignment. This can feel confusing, chosen one, because you're no longer drawn to what once felt familiar, but it's proof that your spirit is outgrowing the old season. Think of how children eventually outgrow their favorite toys. At one point, those toys brought endless joy, but as maturity develops, they are replaced with new interests. This isn't a rejection of the past, it's a natural step into growth. In the same way, your shifting desires are a sign that God is preparing you for something that matches the fullness of who you are becoming. When your heart begins to crave differently, it's a sure sign that heaven is shaping your future. Strength isn't always developed through loud battles or visible victories. Sometimes it's developed quietly, through patience, resilience, and the ability to endure seasons of silence. Chosen one, when God is quiet, He is teaching you to rely on faith rather than feelings. That kind of strength cannot be shaken by storms. Imagine a weightlifter training in silence. No crowd, no applause, just repetitive discipline day after day. The strength they build is not for the gym alone, it's for the challenges of life outside. Similarly, God is conditioning your spirit in hidden places, so that when the time comes for you to be revealed, you will be unshakable. The quiet strength you're building now will be the foundation for the victories ahead. Sometimes, God's silence is His greatest form of protection. If you knew every detail of your next season too soon, you might share it with the wrong people, or even sabotage it with impatience. Silence shields the sacred work that is not yet ready to be exposed. Think of how an inventor guards their blueprint. They don't reveal it in the early stages because it's too fragile to withstand criticism. Only when it's complete do they unveil it to the world. God treats your transformation the same way. He covers you in silence so that His design in you can mature safely without interference. So if things feel quiet right now, trust that it is divine protection, not abandonment. Chosen one of the ways you can tell God is working is by noticing small shifts in your character. Maybe you forgive more easily, maybe you pause before reacting in anger, or maybe you feel more peace in situations that used to unsettle you. These subtle shifts are like spiritual fingerprints, evidence that the Creator's hand is actively molding you. Character growth doesn't announce itself loudly. It's revealed in the way you carry yourself, the words you choose, and the energy you bring into a room. Over time, these small changes accumulate into a completely transformed version of yourself. People may not always point it out, but deep down you will know. Something in you has changed. Even the smallest adjustments in your character are signs of God's silent, powerful work. As God changes you, He will also begin to strip away attachments that no longer serve your journey. This process can feel painful because it often involves releasing people, habits, or environments you thought you couldn't live without. Yet chosen one, this release is not a loss. It is a clearing to make space for the new. Think about cleaning out a closet. At first, it's hard to part with clothes you once loved, even if you haven't worn them in years. But once the closet is cleared, you feel lighter, freer, and ready to welcome what actually fits your current season. Spiritually, the same principle applies. Letting go may hurt at first, but soon you'll realize it was necessary to step into alignment. Release is not rejection, it's preparation for the blessings ahead. Restlessness often appears when your spirit is ahead of your reality. You feel ready for change, yet your surroundings don't seem to match your inner growth. This tension can make you feel stuck, but it's actually a divine indicator that God is preparing to shift your environment. Psychologists call this cognitive dissonance, the discomfort of living in a space that no longer aligns with your beliefs or identity. Spiritually, this happens when God upgrades your inner life but hasn't yet revealed the external breakthrough. That restlessness is not a curse. It's a sign that transition is near. If you're feeling restless, take heart. It's not a mistake, it's evidence that your next chapter is approaching. One of the clearest signs that God is silently working is when you find yourself breaking cycles that once held you captive. Maybe you no longer tolerate toxic environments, or you've stopped running back to old habits that drained you. These shifts don't happen overnight. They're the result of God's quiet chiseling, reshaping you into someone stronger and freer. Breaking patterns is like reprogramming a computer. Old software keeps trying to run, but the system has been upgraded, making it incompatible with outdated codes. In the same way, your spirit no longer accepts what it once did, because God has updated your inner being. It may feel uncomfortable, but that discomfort is proof that you've outgrown your past. When old doors no longer tempt you, it's because you're being prepared for new ones. As God changes you, you'll begin to sense a deeper awareness of why you are here. Purpose doesn't always come in the form of a lightning bolt revelation. It often arrives as a steady whisper, a conviction in your heart that you were created for more. Chosen one, this inner knowing is God's way of guiding you toward your destiny without needing to shout. Many people spend their lives searching outwardly for answers, yet purpose is usually birthed inwardly. Think about how a compass works. It doesn't scream directions. It quietly points north, steady and unchanging. Similarly, God is adjusting the compass of your soul, aligning you with the assignments you were born to fulfill. When your steps start aligning with your calling, you'll know God's silent hand has been guiding you all along. During seasons of silent transformation, you may feel drawn to step back from people, places, and noise. This isolation isn't about loneliness, it's about recalibration. God often calls His chosen ones into solitude so they can hear His whisper without distraction. Think of how a musician tunes their instrument. They don't do it in the middle of a noisy concert. They step away, Adjust quietly and return ready to play in harmony. In the same way, God pulls you aside to fine-tune your heart, ensuring you're in alignment for the next stage of your journey. Though it may feel uncomfortable, isolation is where deep inner strength is forged. What feels like separation is really preparation. As God quietly changes you, your relationships will shift too. Some people will naturally drift away because they no longer resonate with your energy. Others will be divinely placed in your path to support, encourage, and align with your growth. Chosen one, don't be alarmed by these changes. They are proof that your inner transformation is shaping your external reality. Sociologists note that our closest relationships heavily influence our behaviors, habits, and mindset. When you change internally, it's natural that some relationships fall away, while new ones are drawn to your frequency. This isn't rejection, it's spiritual alignment. God is protecting your growth by surrounding you with what you need, not what you're used to. Trust the flow. Relationship shifting is a sign that heaven is rearranging your circle. Perhaps one of the hardest lessons in a quiet season is learning to trust when there's no visible evidence of change. Faith is not about seeing, it's about believing even in the silence. Chosen one, when God is quiet, He's inviting you to lean on trust rather than sight, to walk boldly even when the path ahead isn't fully revealed. Consider how pilots fly through clouds. They can't always see clearly, but they trust their instruments, knowing they'll lead them safely. In the same way, your spiritual instruments, faith, prayer, and intuition, will guide you through uncertainty until God reveals what He's been building. Silent seasons strengthen this trust muscle like nothing else can. When you walk by faith in the silence, you prove you're ready for what's ahead. There always comes a moment when God's quiet work becomes visible. The strength, patience, and wisdom He's been developing in you will eventually reveal themselves through opportunities, victories, and breakthroughs. The unveiling isn't sudden. It's the result of countless silent shifts that prepared you for this moment. Think of how an artist unveils a finished sculpture. What once looked like rough stone now stands as a masterpiece. The world sees the final result, but only the sculptor knows the hours of quiet carving it took to get there. In the same way, when your unveiling comes, people will marvel, but you'll know it was the silent season that made it possible. Chosen one, your unveiling is closer than you think. Stay faithful because the silence is only the prelude to your revelation. Chosen one, remember this: God's silence is never His absence. Every hidden shift, every quiet change is preparing you for a season of undeniable revelation. What feels unseen right now will soon be your greatest testimony. Stay faithful, stay expectant, and trust the process. If this message spoke to your spirit, I invite you to like this video, subscribe to Anointed Era, and share your thoughts in the comments. Your voice matters here. Your unveiling is closer than you think. Hold on, your transformation is already in motion.